Hi, I'm Lori, and this is GLP-1 Journey in Review. I'm doing a video today in my interview series where we talk to people about their weight loss, about GLP-1s, and whatever else they want to talk about. So today we have one of my favorite derms. We have Laraine, and
What do you mean? One of your favorite germs? Just kidding. Sorry. Hey, everybody.
and, and their site is fantastic. It'll be linked down below. Please make sure that you, after you watch this, that you go over to their channel, like, subscribe, become a member. You will not be sorry. Everybody's go-to news YouTube channel, and we are going to talk today to Laraine about her journey and also about her channel. So Laraine, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Lori. Thanks for having me. My name is Laraine Durham. Our YouTube channel is called The Downsized, where we put out GLP-1 content every day on news and interviews and tips and just stuff that's going on in the world of GLP-1. So I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you, Lori, for having me.
I want to remind everybody that we are not healthcare providers. I am not. My guest is not. This is just what works for us. And if you find this entertaining at all, please hit that like and subscribe button. And then, like I said before, go over to the Downsize and do the same. So, Laraine, how much weight have you lost on your journey and what time?
Okay. Have to think for a minute. I've lost, I always say I've lost about 50 pounds. So I think as of this morning, it was like 50.2 pounds. I started at 193 pounds. I'm 5'5". I'm 56 years old, mom of 3 kids, and I lost at an average of at about 1.58 pounds a week. I went from 193 and now today I'm 142.2 or something, 142.8 or somewhere like that. So I vary between 142 and 144. So starting at 193, try to stay below that 143 because that's right at 50 pounds. So I've been in maintenance now for about a year. I used compounded tirzepatide. 99% of my shots were compounded medication, and that was solely because of cost. So our insurance did not cover any weight loss medications, and so decided to start with compounding, and it's worked out great.
And why did you pick the tirzepatide versus the semaglutide?
That's a great question. When I started looking into it, I had a friend, my friend Elaine, and she had lost a bunch of weight. And I said, "What are you doing?" Because she and I had always struggled. We've been to Weight Watchers together. And she said, I'm on this drug called Mounjaro. And I was like, I'd never heard of Mounjaro. This was back in 2023. And so I started Googling it, and as you Google things or talk about things, your phone hears you. And all of a sudden, I started getting these ads for online telehealth providers. So I started checking into them, and I picked one, and I talked to their online provider, and it was a lady, and she said, we have semaglutide and we have tirzepatide. Semaglutide's a little bit cheaper, but tirzepatide is a little bit more expensive, but it worked better. And all I heard was, it worked better. And I was already going to spend so much on it anyway. What was a little bit more if it was really going to promise better results? So I started with a 3-month supply of compounded tirzepatide in vials. I got a 2.5 vial, a 5 vial, and a 7.5 vial. And she said just to do, 4 months on 2.5, 4 months on the 5, 4 months on the 7.5. And I said, okay, well, 4 weeks. Yeah. And I said, well, I'll give it a try. I wasn't really expecting, honestly, I really wasn't expecting it to work because I've bought lots of stuff. I've been on lots of diets. Throughout my life, I've done Weight Watchers. I've tried to exercise it off. I've done all kinds of crazy, cabbage soup diets and Atkins and keto. And So I was like, this is something else I'm going to order off the internet and possibly be disappointed by and out of money by. But I'm like, well, it worked for my friend Elaine. So I was hopeful, but I wasn't like, this is going to be it. So, yeah.
And how soon before you saw effects?
Right away. I mean, I keep a spreadsheet of my whole my whole journey. So, and cuz I forget now, right? I'm in week 93, 92 of my journey now. So I started on September 29th of 2023, and yeah, the first week I lost 4.2 pounds. I was thrilled, because usually on Weight Watchers, I've stopped and started Weight Watchers. I don't even know how many times, a lot of times. And usually that first week, that weight loss would be 4 or 5 pounds. So I thought, okay, well, it's at least as good as what I've done before. So I lost that 4 pounds. The second week, I lost 0.2 pounds. I'm like, I've wasted my money. But, I had all these vials, so I just keep going. And then the third week, I lost 2.4. I was like, oh. So in that first month, 6.8. I was like, okay, this is better results than I got with anything lately. So then I just kept going, and I moved up to the 5 milligram dose. On that dose, I lost 5.4 pounds. 1 to 2 pounds a week, nothing earth shattering. On 7.5, I lost 7.6 pounds. I'm like, okay, so now by this time, I've lost about 20 pounds in 3 months. And I'm going, oh, this works, right? And now it's time to reorder. So I try to contact this online company, and I can't get anybody on the phone. I can't. This is a company I don't use anymore. And so I was like, oh, I gotta find a new company. So I did that, and I kind of started over again, but they let me start on that 7.5 dose. So I kept going with the 7.5 for a bit longer. And over the course of, let's see, like 55 weeks, I lost about 50 pounds. So I was like, this is great. Like, I never want to give this up. I never want to stop taking it. But the people really, started asking me, well, when are you going to stop taking it? Well, yeah, you've done great. So now you get to come off of it, right? And I was like, well, no, I don't think so. So I did try to step down my dose once I hit my goal weight, because I thought, well, am I supposed to come down in the medication? I didn't really know. This was in 2024, towards the end of 2024. And, nobody was really talking about maintenance yet. So I just kind of had to figure it out. Right. So I did end up dropping down to a 5 milligram dose. And I continued to lose weight as I dropped down in the doses. So, I had been as low as, 55 pounds down, which, isn't that much, but I just felt like I was gradually losing when I really wasn't trying to, even if it was like a pound a month or something like that. So I started trying to eat a little bit more, and I ended up actually bumping up my dose a little bit, because I was just kind of doing some weird fluctuations and things. So I'm still struggling to figure out, what this long-term maintenance is really going to look like. Right now, I'm on a 7.5 milligram dose, and that seems to be good for right now.
I don't know about you, but I think maintenance has been the hardest part of this, because I don't think there is an exact plan for maintenance, and it's just so different on everybody. I've seen people stretch it out, lower their doses, split their doses.
Yeah.
There's no good roadmap.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people doing a lot of different things out there. I never wanted to split my dose. And what we mean by splitting doses, I guess some people take, and you can do this on compounded. If you're on the pen, it's a little bit more difficult. But if you're on the compounded, some people were taking 2 shots. So taking half their dose on Sunday and half their dose on Wednesday. And for me, I didn't even like, taking 1 shot a week. I didn't want to take 2 shots a week, but I have heard people say that it kind of smooths out that food noise, kind of smooths out their hunger. So I'm still on a 1 shot a week routine. My husband and I take our shots on the same day of the week, and I find that's helpful. And a lot of times we still forget. I don't know how you, it's been, 92 weeks. You'd think we would remember, but, we take our shots on Friday, and I think it was dinner time on Friday. I was like, oh, Christopher, we haven't taken our shot today. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. So it's good to have, somebody else to help you remember.
I found the time that I tried splitting my dose, it was like I wasn't getting that full bang that you usually get.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause usually I would get that full bang, and then a day or a day and a half before my next shot, I'd be a little bit more hungry. I really wasn't gaining weight, so I just didn't want to be that, like I'm starting to hear that hunger noise again.
Yeah.
Then I figured, well, I could take my regular dose and then Wednesday take one, but then I'm increasing my dose. So like, is that really helping? It's
Is
like,
that helpful? Yeah. It's hard to know.
just, yeah, I really wish they would get some good studies on, ways to do maintenance.
Yeah. What,
And
Chris?
I think that's true with all of the diets, because I think of, like I've been on some crazy diets and I've lost a decent amount of weight, but the minute it came to maintaining it, everything went out the window. I don't think they figured out maintenance on much of any diets.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So for me, I had never gotten all the way down to a goal weight. Like I could lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds. One time I even lost 50 pounds after the birth of my third child. But, over time, it just crept back. I heard Oprah Winfrey on her special that came out a couple years ago say, it's like trying to hold your breath underwater. We can lose weight. We know what to do. We can do it. We can hold our breath for a time, but eventually you got to come up for air, right? Eventually your body, I think because we have this disease of obesity, your brain is always going to override and be like, you need food. Go in search of food now. What's in your pantry? Let's think about all the things you can eat all the time. And it just like the food noise was really what drove me to eat. So yeah, to have that taken away by these GLP-1 medications has really just been the best part of it for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how helpful have you found it that Christopher is doing the same thing with you?
It's very helpful. He, we come at this approach to weight loss from different perspectives because I kind of grew up heavy. I grew up battling it. My mom was always like on me to lose weight, and he did not grow up like that. So he grew up like a regular kid, a regular, boy who could, eat whatever and run around and was active. And somewhere, I guess, in his 20s, that changed for him. So, he hasn't done a million diets like I've done, but he really decided that he needed to make a change for his health. He has a family history of some diseases, so he really wanted to make a change for that. And so we had been looking at when Ozempic first came out, we saw it on the news and we said, oh, let's see what your doctor says about Ozempic, Christopher. And he was like, okay. And he went and got a prescription and I took it to CVS and it was $1,000. And I was like, yes, no wonder only the stars are doing it because nobody else can afford it. Right. So we kind of put that to the side. And then when we found out about compounded medications, he was like, yeah, let's give that a try. So that was a way we could both, try it and do it and have when we've had success with it. So it's been very helpful to have and he does all the cooking at our house. So, and that was something, when we first met, he, cooked me dinner, and we would always go out to restaurants, and we're big foodies, right? So we still are, he still cooks, but it's just changed the way that he cooks and the things that we eat, and, the amount of food that we eat really has just dramatically decreased.
So why do you think women are more drawn to this medication than men? Because I mean, the statistics show it's.
Yeah. Um, I think society views weight on women differently than it's viewed on men. Men are strong, or they're football players, or they're bouncer types, or they're, he's just a big guy. And women are viewed not that way, not so complimentary. A lot of times it's, oh, well, you could really stand to lose a few pounds, or maybe you shouldn't eat that dessert, or, it's just those subtle jabs that we get as women. And even in business, I would notice this working with other women. I'd see them, not eat. I'd see them, especially in front of other people, like eat a very, very small portion just to avoid the appearance of eating. I mean, how messed up is that? So it's just, I think women are just naturally have been pushed to weight loss by society, where men, not as much, as it's my opinion, I guess.
Have you noticed people have been treating you differently since you've lost weight? For example, I know for me at work, when I was heavy and I was trying to lift a box, people would just kind of like run. And now they're, oh, let me help you with that. Yes.
Now that I don't need your help because I'm stronger, right? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed. People, I do think, and even I find myself doing this, I, as a overweight person, would look at somebody overweight and make a judgment about them, right? Or maybe they're not as smart, or they're this, or they're that, or whatever, which is terrible. Like, and you would think, me growing up as a heavy kid, I would not have a bias against other heavy people, but I think we just get that drilled into us as a society, not so much now as, like when we grew up in the 70s and 80s, but I mean, it's just really hard to change those biases. And, that's why I've been so vocal about telling people that obesity is a disease and it's not our fault. I always thought it was my fault. I always thought, I did this to myself. If I could just stop eating, then it would be okay. And turns out it was my brain driving me to eat 24 hours a day. And it's really hard to overcome your biology, So that's where I really love these GLP-1 medications.
So what made you decide to start up your super successful YouTube channel?
Christopher, when COVID came, we have our other business. We do videos, and we do conferences in the private brand business. So it's a very small segment of retail private brands. And so during COVID, when everything shut down, we couldn't do conferences anymore. We started doing online conferences from our home office. So we had the video equipment. And, when we started in September with our weight loss, and we got to about March, and Christopher said, we could make videos talking about our weight loss, and, we could put them on YouTube like we were doing with our other business. And I'm like, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to watch them. I could talk about weight loss. I could talk about weight loss every day forever, because it's just something I've been battling every day of what feels like my whole life. So yeah, I have plenty to say about it. And I would love to be able to tell people about these GLP-1 medications because they are so life changing. And I don't really think most people in America have even really gotten the message yet. And if they have, they're still trying to figure out how to access them, how to be able to afford them. So I think that's where our channel has really taken off because there's so many people coming searching the internet for information every day on how do I, they go to the drugstore and it's $1,000. Well, what do I do? What do I do then? What do I do now? So, I like being able to help people, find a way into this GLP-1 craze. Not a craze, but it's almost like magic. Yeah, the GLP-1 magic, I guess. I don't know. It's science.
So
It's yeah.
I can't not bring up Monday night. Tell us about the news on the Downsized.
Yeah, so every Monday we put out the Downsized news. Today is Monday, so we'll be recording that in a little bit. When we first started, we did a weekly update and we also included a news segment at the end. It's also something Christopher had done from his private brand channel. So he said, "Oh, why don't I do the news, only GLP-1 news?" I said, "Christopher, nobody's going to watch the news. That's a dumb idea. Nobody wants to know the news. People want to know about weight loss and how to do it and where to get it. And like, who cares about the news? I just want to know all the details, right?" So he goes, "Well, let's just do it, and you can read it. I'll gather it, and then we can just read it." So I'm like, "All right, well, nobody's going to watch it." Well, of course, that's our most popular our most popular segment is the news. It turns out whenever I say something is a really dumb idea, then it's the best idea ever. So now that's it. We have that running joke. That's happened a couple times now. So apparently, I'm not I just know about weight loss. I can just rattle on about my weight loss all day, but people really do want to know what's happening in the world of GLP-1s. And there's so many new drugs in development right now that, 2026, we're going to see this drug orforglipron possibly, be able to be prescribed and dispensed. And that would be a real game changer in that it's a oral pill, no refrigeration, no shot needed. Hallelujah. Sign me up. I'll be first in line for that. So there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline in the terms of GLP-1s, and that there's still not really a lot of research like we're talking about on maintenance. There's just not a lot of research on GLP-1. So when we do see a study come out or we do, hear about some news, we want to give that information out so that people can know what's going on so they can adjust their own journey, because everybody is just so different the way their bodies handle these medications. So I think the more knowledge people have, the more empowered they are in their own health.
I know everybody that I talk to, they're like, "Nah, I don't need to do the news. I get mine from the Downside." And so it's that you're known for your news, definitely.
Well, thank you. That is all 100% Christopher Durham. I just read the notes.
Yeah.
But
In medical, even working in the medical profession, I always want to know, why do they give these drugs a name that's so hard to pronounce?
gosh, that's the worst when I have to pronounce these drug names. And I mean, what am I just going to make it up? Like sometimes, and like the doctors' names too, they have these long, different looking names. And I just kind of just give it my best shot. I think last week on the news, we came across a new drug and I just stopped. I'm like, Christopher, I don't even know. Like, you're going to have to tell me how to say that one. So, and a lot of times we're just guessing because these new drug names come out and there's no pronunciation guide for them. So, I think that a lot of times we see that with even semaglutide. Today some people say semaglutide, some people say semaglutide. Like I've heard doctors say it both ways. So, I think we can just
Tomato,
whatever.
tomato.
Yeah. Whatever you say, just say it with confidence and people will know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, uh, have your taste buds changed at all on this journey?
I wish I could say that they have, but I think at the beginning, I really, you have that time where you really just don't eat a lot of anything. And so I didn't want, I'd take 5 bites and be like, I'm done. Like nothing sounded good, nothing particularly tasted good. Like I just, it- it's in that first month or two was kind of like, yeah, no, I didn't want anything. Um, Now, 92 weeks later, it's a little bit different. So my body is very acclimated to the medication. And I still like those junk food things I always liked, unfortunately. So I don't have them as often. Or if I do have them, I'm satisfied with a much smaller amount, which is fantastic, right? Because I could go to the grocery store or go to the bakery and like demolish a very large quantity of baked goods. Whereas now I can go and get one cookie and I'm fine. Like really, like that's weird. Like, or and some stuff I just don't go towards anymore because for me it's just not worth it. Like packaged goods, some like those highly processed, highly packaged things. If I'm gonna eat a treat, I want it to be the best bakery version, because I'm only gonna eat like one. So I want it to be the best thing. Like we noticed on pizza is my favorite food. It will always be my favorite food. And before, we'd get several pizzas and between the family, we just eat all the pizza, right? So now we went to a place near us that it's like a one of those brick oven high heat places, and they just use flour, salt, yeast, water, and then put the toppings on. And it pizza, I used to eat a lot of pizza and it used to always hurt my stomach. And I just didn't think about it or I didn't know why. And it was really, I think, the ingredients or the wheat or something. And I think if now that we're going to like a different kind of pizza place that's maybe has a little bit better quality wheat, a little bit less processed, we can get the pizza and I can eat a piece and we get a salad and I'm like, oh, okay, well that was good. Let's take home the rest. So I still like the things that I've always liked. It's just now I'm eating less, which is so great. Yeah.
That's great. So, is your comfort food the same now as it was before the GLP-1 medication?
Um so that's a great question. For me, donuts have always been my like go-to, like an ice cream when I'm happy, when I'm sad, whatever. And about I don't know, probably about a year ago, my dad's been going through some health struggles, and he had some uh not bad news, but not great news. And I was really upset about it. And I drove to a donut store and I got a donut and I shoved the whole thing in my mouth in the car. And I'm on maintenance at this point, right? Like this is not like a normal occurrence for me, but I was upset. And because I knew that food would make me feel better. That food would like, make me all happy. And it didn't. It didn't light up my brain like it used to. Like that sugar, those carbs, that all that stuff just it tasted good, but it wasn't like the high I used to get from those kind of foods before. And that's kind of what made me realize, yeah, I'm going to have to find other ways to deal with unpleasant news or bad situations other than eating. And I know this, Like I've been going to Weight Watchers since 1985. This is a standard thing that they teach you, like don't go, but it's hard to overcome that drive and that way that food can light up your brain. So yeah, that changed a little bit.
You have a different relationship with food now than you did before. It's more like you're good, but I
I
don't need
think so.
these.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like I know that you're there, but I don't need you anymore like I used to. Yeah. Interesting.
So, were you worried about anything before you started this medication? Because I mean, if you look on the internet, like I'd be scared to death about half the things that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when Christopher and I started, there's the black box warnings on the medication itself. You have the medullary thyroid cancer warning, and so those are something to consider. But it didn't stop us, I guess is what I'd say. And even now, I think, sometimes you hear news that maybe gets blown out of proportion about the side effects of these medications. And there can be some extreme instances of side effects in certain individuals. And that's why it's so important to go through a doctor to get these prescription medications. So, for me, my main side effect was constipation, but it turns out I think I was always struggling with that. And just maybe this kind of just made it more apparent by being on these. So, I wasn't really, I remember one time I bought off the internet this was years ago, it's like fish flakes that you were supposed to sprinkle on your food that it would make you stop eating. I mean, when I say I have tried everything, I really feel like I have. And I remember I got those in the mail and I'd watched some videos of people, eating it and then they just would stop eating. And I was like, what is even in this? I mean, I spent all this money on it and then I never used it because I was scared to use it. So, I mean, I can definitely see how people, maybe get a little freaked out, especially by the fact that this is an injection. It's serious, right? I never gave myself a shot before. I didn't know how to do that. Like I still don't particularly like giving myself a shot. I've done over 93 of them, but it's not exactly like I don't look forward to it. And I know some people look forward to shot day. That's not me, but yeah.
I feel great after my shot.
And that's great. You know what I mean? Like it's just if there was anything I had been hesitant about, it was the whole giving myself a shot thing. And if that's somebody out there watching this and they're worried about giving themselves a shot, it's not that bad. You can do it. Christopher had to give me my first couple. And then I was like, you know what? I can figure this out. It's not that hard. And I do it. So, there's videos you can watch and people can show you how they do it. So, so there are some, some things to think about when you're starting this journey, but I don't think it should be, once you get cleared by your doctor to start, I wouldn't let anything hold you back from going forward.
I hear that they're thinking about taking away that thyroid cancer off the label because the research is changing.
Yeah, the thing about that is, maybe Christopher can confirm this with me, but that was only shown to happen in rats. I don't think that was ever shown to happen in humans. So, is it a concern? Maybe. Has it ever been something that's happened in a person who's taken this medicine? I don't think so. So, I think they just wanted to be overly cautious maybe when they started this. If they took it off, that'd be great.
I always get a kick of when they say, don't take this medication if you're allergic to it, Well, how do you know you're allergic to it until you take it? Yeah.
Do not take Zepbound if you are allergic to Zepbound. Well, of course, but then how would you know, right? I guess some people sometimes have they might get. I've heard of allergic site injection reactions, but other than that, I don't. I've never. I always think that is kind of silly when we hear that on a advertisement. Do not take it if you are allergic to it. Well, of course not. Like, what are you talking about?
What is your opinion of all these commercials on TV for, just going after the public as opposed to?
Yeah, I am pro commercial. Christopher is anti commercial, but I'm pro commercial because how can more information be bad, right? I don't know that people would necessarily have heard about Ozempic or Wegovy or Mounjaro or Zepbound without these commercials. And, everybody knows the catchy, Ozempic, Wegovy, like everybody knows these jingles now. And so I think people are more likely to ask their doctor about them if they've seen them before. Like I went into my doctor for years begging her, is there anything you can prescribe to me? I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60 pounds overweight. And she would always tell me, well, you just need to diet and exercise. Well, Ozempic was out there when she was telling me this, but she just was not a fan of it, and she just wasn't ever going to do it. And if I had never known about it, then I would have never gotten on it. So, I think while some people are under the opinion of, your doctor should be the one to bring you the information and bring you the news. Well, there's a lot of doctors out there that do not like these GLP-1 medications, will not prescribe them. Yeah, will not tell you about them. So how else as a regular person who's working your job and raising your family and going through your life? Anyway, Christopher.
Internet? I don't know. Tail arching?
Right. I mean, anyway, I just think information is important, and I wouldn't want to limit any source of someone finding out about this medication.
So have you had any stalls in your journey?
People have asked me that, and there have been times where I wouldn't really call it a stall. So I've had some points, I'm looking at my chart, where I've maybe gone up a little bit in weight, or maybe, I only lost 0.4 or 0.2, but it always seemed to even out with the next week. So, generally a stall or a plateau is where you don't lose any weight. You stay exactly the same for, I think it's maybe 4 weeks in a row. So I never had anything like that. I think, if someone out there is having that kind of result, there are things you can look at. Are you eating enough protein? Are you drinking enough water? Are you constipated? How long have you been on your current dose? And maybe it's time to ask your doctor about moving up in dose. So I think there's a lot of different ways to play around with, between your food and your medication to get things moving if they seem to slow down. But I think I was always very responsive to the medication. And, going back and looking, I've talked to people who've lost 50 pounds on 2.5 milligrams, never gone up from that dose. And I kind of wonder, if I hadn't been told to go up, and had just stayed on a dose, would my results have been different? No way to know now. But, I think plateaus, sometimes people really aren't looking at all the things that they're doing. And I think that's why it's so important to keep notes, because I forget. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. I'm not going to remember what I lost in week 3 of my 93-week journey, right? So, keep good notes, and it's especially helpful to take things into your doctor. So, my doctor who told me to just diet and exercise, she moved away, and I got a different nurse practitioner. And when I first mentioned to her I was on compounded tirzepatide, she just kind of went, and then the next year I went back for my checkup and I talked about it again. And I said, and here's my results. Here's all. And she goes, oh, let me look at this, and she was like, oh yeah, you've had really great results on that. So, sometimes it's just a matter of, looking at it for yourself, being able to show your doctor your results. I think it can make a difference.
Why do you think that the doctors and the whole medical profession has such a bad opinion of compounding pharmacies, considering they've been around forever?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of have to, right? Because they don't know anything about them. They've not vetted them. The compounding pharmacies are approved by states. The individual states are regulated by the state. So if you're getting your medication from Red Rock Pharmacy out in Utah, and I live in North Carolina, my doctor's not going to know anything about Red Rock Pharmacy, right? So I can't blame them. I mean, as a doctor, I can see where they would definitely want you to get the name brand medication, go down to your CVS and get it, and then let's manage all the things. But for me, as a consumer, I would definitely want safe medication. It has to be affordable because,
I mean, I think they should have it as an option because it is affordable in many. And like I know with my wife, when there was a shortage and she couldn't get her Manjaro, she was taking my compound, and her endocrinologist said, "Good, at least you're taking something."
Yeah. Something's better than nothing, I guess, in a doctor's point of view at that point. I mean, compounded medication has been around for hundreds of years, right? That's how pharmacies started.
Right.
They started by mixing up things and selling it to people. So I do think some compounding pharmacies are better than others. It's important to look at the one you're using and read reviews and make up your own mind.
Okay, so have you had blood pressure problems or cholesterol problems when you first started, or
No,
strictly just weight?
it was just strictly weight. I mean, I always said, and this is now, I know this is not to be true, but I always said I was a very healthy fat person, right? So I was 50, 60 pounds overweight most of my life. I did not have high cholesterol. I did not have high blood pressure. I always exercised. I mean, I was running half marathons and triathlons at, 40, 50 pounds overweight. So for me, I don't know if it was just, genetics or what, but it was just really, I just carried extra weight. And, now that I have lost the weight, my levels have definitely improved, but they were never bad to begin with. But now I know, calling myself a healthy fat person, right? Eventually it puts pressure on your joints and on your knees and on your heart carrying around this extra weight. And so, people might think, oh, well, I'm healthy. I don't need to lose weight. Well, down the road as you age, you might think differently.
How long do you think it's going to take insurance companies to realize that this is actually a benefit for them, taking care of this now before we need open heart surgeries, liver transplants, knee replacements, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, it would be great, but unfortunately, insurance companies are only worried about profits, right? They're not worried about people. So right now, today, if they're covering the cost of these $1,000 a month medications, that's costing them a lot of money and hurting their profits, their bottom line. I think what's going to happen before insurance coverage is the drug manufacturers, I'm hoping, will lower their costs. So we've seen Novo Nordisk that makes Wegovy offering an introductory price of $199, $299 for Wegovy. We've seen Eli Lilly, who makes Zepbound for weight loss, introduce the vials you can buy directly from Eli Lilly direct. It starts at $399, $499. So they're still expensive, but the drug manufacturers, I think, are realizing that insurance isn't gonna cover these, and if they want to get their medicines out to the 74% of America who would probably be eligible for them, they're going to have to make them more affordable. So I think they're doing that a little bit at a time, and I think as more medications come to market, hopefully the competition will drive prices down. At least that's our
I'm
hope.
going to use myself as an example because the reason why I got started is because my calcium score was a little bit higher than what I wanted it to be. And if they were paying for my medication regularly on insurance, if I still think it would be cheaper than if 10 years from now I needed open heart surgery at anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million for that.
Wow.
And they just don't get the long picture. They're only looking at the short picture.
Yeah, I think that's it exactly. And it's it's really frustrating for us to say, how could they be so short-sighted? Like, obviously, if people could have access to these medications, they're good for so many other things, right? Like sleep apnea and cardiac health, and inflammation is reduced. They've, helping all kinds of things. So I think eventually the evidence will just be overwhelming. Insurance companies are just so, I don't know, hard to work with on just minor things, let alone something as big as obesity and weight loss. So, I couldn't even get my colonoscopy covered where I had to, where they were like, you have to have this piece cut out and fused back together. I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't completely covered. So, I'm not hopeful for insurance companies. I'm more hopeful that the drug companies will want to make more profits and push it out to more people.
Do you think with the Heart Association about to recommend it for treatment of heart disease, do you think that's going to help with insurance?
I mean, it couldn't hurt, right? I mean, it should be helpful. So if people can get medications covered for a condition like heart disease or, something like that. Yeah, that's how sleep apnea, people are getting prescribed sleep apnea and getting it covered because it's been shown to be helpful for that. So I think the drug companies are definitely trying to look at what exactly can these medications help besides obesity in order to get the insurance to cover them, because there's still a weight bias against obesity, right? People still say, well, you're cheating, or why don't you just diet and exercise, or you don't really need a medication for weight loss. Well, that's silly. But sleep apnea, yeah, let's cover that. Cardiac health, yeah, let's cover that. But weight loss, those I don't know, well, maybe they just should exercise more. Who knows? So it's just coming around to that, getting over that obesity bias. It's going to take a while.
So take us through a day in the life of Laraine Durham.
Okay. Well, today, I got up and I know I need to get up. Yeah, it's always good, right? I know I need to get up by 8:00 in the morning. We work from home. So if I get up at 8, I can make it to the gym for my 9:00 workout class. So I got up. I wasn't particularly hungry today. I put my Premier Protein shake in my coffee, so I got a few grams of protein in that day. And unfortunately, that's all I got. And I grabbed a banana on the way out the door. I did my bar workout class. I tried some pull-ups, came home, showered, ate some yogurt, some Greek yogurt. I'm not the best example of what to eat in a day. People ask me that all the time. Usually like through the afternoon, I just don't think about eating. Like we like hopefully a good 20, 30 gram protein lunch. And then I get busy with other stuff, right? Doing research, or I'm answering emails, or I'm working on different projects. And I usually, before GLP-1s, at about 3:00, my brain would just turn on and say, it's time for a snack. Let's go look in the pantry. You work from home. There's a lot of food in the house. Let's go see what's available. And it doesn't do that anymore. So it's nice to be able to just work through. 5 o'clock comes. I do like to eat early. Um, my kids always, make fun of me. They're like, "Mom, nobody eats at 6 o'clock. Nobody eats at 5:30." I'm like, I do. But then once we eat dinner, I try not to eat anything after dinner. And I've been doing that for a while. It's kind of like a habit, right? So, you know, dinner's over, the kitchen's closed, and we, either do stuff around the house or watch TV, or Christopher comes upstairs and keeps working. So, I mean, any supplements? Right now, I'm just taking a supplement called Replenza. They sponsor our channel. This is not a sponsored post, but I do like those supplements, and that's it. I occasionally do the electrolytes in my water. I like Element. I know Element is mentioned out there a lot in
Element.
GLP-1 land. Yeah, it's a little on the pricey side. There are cheaper ones out there I've tried. I get some at Aldi. You can go to Walmart. There's many different types. So find one that works for you. I do think it helps me when I'm doing like a hard cardio workout. I find that the electrolytes help me. I don't know. They just help me recover better. I just feel better. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or if it's actually doing something, but either way, I feel better. So why not? I do notice that, because I used to take my big cup to the gym and I would drink 40 ounces like on the way and then during the workout, and then I'd fill it up after and drink that on the way home. And I have noticed since adding electrolytes, I don't feel a need to drink so much. Like, I think the electrolytes are helping my body hold on to that hydration a little bit better. And, at some point, it is possible to drink too much water. So you don't want to be flushing out, anyway, that's just my personal opinion. This is not medical advice, as you said in the beginning. So,
do you go to the grocery store, or is that Christopher?
No, oddly enough, I go to the grocery store and just buy an assortment of things and then bring it home. And Christopher says, "Well, what do you want me to do with all this?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know, but this is what I felt like buying today." So sometimes he goes with me, and that's fine. But no, I do go to the grocery store. I like Aldi, and I like Aldi because number one, it's cheaper. Number two, it's all private brands, and being in the private brand business, we feel like they're just as good as national brands most of the time. And another thing I like is that there's fewer choices. So it's a smaller format grocery store. There's not a million things in the bakery to call my name. There's not, a huge cookie or snack aisle, or there's no huge any aisle, really. There's just a limited number of choices. And I generally buy the same things pretty much every week. And sometimes I have to go to the other grocery stores to fill in things that I can't get at Aldi, like Diet Coke, cat food, stuff like that. So, but I got to a point where I really did not like going to the grocery store because I found it to be very overwhelming. And, as a person who there's no foods that I really don't like except maybe cottage cheese. So everything else, I'd go through the grocery store and I'd want everything. And that would be really hard. So I just find a store with less choices is sometimes a little bit easier for me.
So what do you think about all these foods that are now all of a sudden same food, but now they have that GLP-1 friendly label on it?
Yeah, you know what? If I was in marketing for those food companies, I would do the same thing because they've done that for years, right? So in the 80s, everything was fat free or sugar free or extra fiber or whole grain or whatever. So, probably to the food manufacturers, this is just another trend, right? So they want to maximize, their products, and I can't blame them for that. But it does seem like there's a lot of foods that are now added protein or added some fiber, and you know what? That's a good thing. I don't mind protein added products. You know, my husband Christopher is a big fan of, I just want to eat real food. I don't want to take protein supplements. But my point of view is, if it can help you, get some protein in the morning where you were having a piece of toast and coffee before, that can be helpful. It can be beneficial. I do want people to, go toward whole foods and make healthy choices, but I love a protein bar. If it's the end of the week and it's coming up on shot day and I'm thinking, oh, I'd really like a candy bar or something, I have some protein bars that'll fill that need and shut down that hunger completely. So I do lean on products like that occasionally.
So last night I went out to dinner and we went to Bonefish Grill, and what I usually ordered, which I always thought was somewhat of a healthy food, I found out it had 1,700 calories.
What was this?
The fish.
Which fish?
This is, it was Parmesan encrusted trout. I just had regular grilled trout.
Yeah.
400 calories. So I'm really glad they're putting that on the menu. Do you think fast foods might follow in that trend?
I think in some states, maybe like New York, they have to list it on their menu boards, their calories and stuff. I always say
but I think they really have to change some of their menu.
Oh, I mean, it's probably a good thing. I mean, some people are never going to go off of, Big Mac and fries, but I think it is, and again, it goes toward the more information is always more helpful. I'd rather have the information and then make a personal choice what I want to do with it rather than not know the calorie content. Although when I see the calorie content, it hurts my feelings because I really thought I was making a good choice by getting the fish, but then I figured out the Parmesan, 1,000 calories of Parmesan cheese on there. Who knew that could be bad? I love their Bang Bang shrimp. That is probably also 1,000,000 calories. But yeah, I think more information is always helpful, and people are adults. They can make their own choices, right? But sometimes those things that we really like and we've always liked, and then we find out we thought we were making a good choice, and then it's maybe not the best choice. But, what are you going to do, right?
Is there a video that you're most proud of that you guys did?
Oh, there is a video there's a video we did at the very beginning. And I think it was called 8 Reasons Why You're Not Losing Weight on a GLP-1 Medication. And it was really just Christopher and I just talking back and forth about things we have discovered or things that had helped us. And it was really at the very beginning of our channel. You got to go way back. I think I have on a blue sweater, and it was it was in March or April of 2024. And that one just really kind of took off. And I was really, I'm always amazed when people watch, because I really feel like sometimes I'm just, blabbering away about whatever the topic of the day is. But, yeah, I think that one, the one we did yesterday, our weekly weigh-in that we posted yesterday, I just, I had a thought that popped into my mind about, people are really talking about, does a higher dose of medicine equate with higher weight loss or faster weight loss? And it just, some people have been texting me that or emailing me that question, and we had been thinking about it. I had been looking at my own personal experience. We had been looking at studies that talked about it. And that video, I think in just a day, is really our number one video of all of them, to date. So,
My next question.
What's that?
What was your most popular?
Oh,
video?
What was my most? That one's most popular. There's another, whenever we do a tips one, 8 ways to lose weight on a GLP-1, or how fast can you lose weight on a GLP-1, 8 or 9 tips. People love tips videos, right? They want to know, like, what are the steps that I can take? Sometimes that gets like repetitive to me. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over, but then I forget that there's so many new people coming to YouTube all the time looking for information. So, we have to come up with new ways to kind of say the same information sometimes.
Absolutely. But I don't want to keep you all day. So do you have any closing remarks you want to make?
If you're thinking about, if you've got the medication in the fridge and you're scared to take it, or you're thinking about asking your doctor, I just cannot recommend these GLP-1 medications enough. So if you start with your doctor, get the medications, figure out a way you can afford it, whether it's with a coupon from the manufacturer and insurance, or maybe it's a compounded version from an online platform. But these medications have changed our lives, really, mine and Christopher's lives. They've changed the way we act around food. They've changed the way we think about food. They've changed the amount of food that we eat. And as someone who has struggled since age 10, literally, I think my mom took me to my first weight loss center at age 10. It just is such a relief to be able to lose weight and keep it off, and know that as long as I keep taking this medication, this weight is not going to come back. And that is such a relief. So, if you're thinking about getting started, I can't recommend it highly enough.
And I want to tell everybody that you're nominated for America's Favorite Couple. So please vote. And with your permission, I'd like to put that link in my description also.
That'd be great. Yeah. Thanks, Lori. I came across this and I thought, it's like a fundraiser type. You can vote for free once a day. And then if you want to purchase votes, it goes to a charity. So I thought, let's, I don't know. I see people doing these things all the time. So I put us out there, and I think we're doing pretty good. So yeah, if you guys want to go vote for us, it doesn't cost anything. So, that would be great. Thanks.
Link will be on their channel, and a link will be in the description. So please check it out.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your time. It was very kind of you. I know you're very busy.
Thank you, Lori.
You've been a tremendous help to me and my channel. I want to thank you and Christopher for that.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. So, I think I've told you this before, but growing up, my nickname was Lori. So, my mom calls me Lori. My dad, all my friends up through, I think I changed it to Laraine when I was 16 because that was my real name. But a lot of people call me Lori. So I was just naturally drawn to you because your name is Lori too. So we're twins. Thanks, Lori. It's been fun.
And enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll make sure I catch the news today.
Thanks, Lori. Okay. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.